Hi everyone, welcome to QPF, a quiet place for friends. I'm Sinn0h, and I'd like to go ahead and have my partner introduce himself.
I'm Max.
Oh my, I love this. So yes, I want to go ahead and thank you all so much for joining in today, and whether you're someone that just has a few minutes on their time, or whether you're someone that just has nothing to do and you just want to go ahead and see what's going on, it's so nice, and it means so much to us that you've gone ahead and given this podcast a shot, and you've subscribed, and the amount of positivity that's generated before even creating our first podcast is actually quite unbelievable, and we just want to thank you guys so very much for this. And I think before we get into the topic, we just wanted to touch base how this podcast came to be. So essentially, I've always wanted to do a podcast, and I've never really found the people to do it with. And essentially, I like to see my relationships on YouTube more as friendships rather than business relationships. And, well, Maxi Boy over here is probably the first YouTuber I ever found on this platform in this commentary genre. He's the first person I ever met, and I guess we just clicked instantly. And so I came to him with this idea, and it took quite a bit of asking, but he came around, didn't you, boy?
You were groveling at my feet is what you were doing.
But yeah, so we're giving this a shot. So Max has said that if the podcast does go well, that we will continue doing it. So we would love for you to show your support, and it would mean so much. And another thing that's kind of concerning is this whole YouTube terms of service, the new thing that's introduced, and people that have gone ahead and actually been demonetized based on videos that regard this topic: depression, social anxiety, really sensitive topics which aren't being remarked in such a negative way, but in reality it's actually talking about how to overcome that. And whilst this YouTube channel, this podcast, isn't meant to be economically stable, whilst we're not looking to make this, we're going to make millions or hundreds of dollars off this is really just an environment where we get to talk to you guys. So whether that does or doesn't happen to our videos, we couldn't really care any less. It's just about talking to you guys about this topic. And so that's pretty much how it goes. So if you like it, please go ahead and show your support. But with that said, today we're going to be talking about depression. Would you like to kick us off with that, man?
Sure, yeah. Do you want me to give like an experience that I had about it or with
Yeah,
it?
go for it.
Depression. All right. Depression, it was on top of me for like most of my teenage life, as the same goes with most of you who are watching. It manifests almost out of nowhere, it felt like, because it was it just started growing, and then
a huge thing is that, like, half the time when it does happen, it's already when you are feeling those negative feelings.
yeah.
And the thing is, I think there's a huge difference between being depressed and having depression. And I think that's a huge difference between being clinically diagnosed with depression or just having a moment in time where you are depressed. And for the people out there that actually feel as if that they are are depressed, you're not. You're actually in a depression, unless, of course, you're clinically diagnosed with it. And I guess what I'm trying to say is that you're going to be okay, really, is that me, myself, I've never been depressed. Sure, I've had depressions, though, in my life, here and there. So everyone goes through depressions in their lives, and it's a completely normal thing, right?
Yeah, I agree.
And so, unless you're, I guess, really clinically diagnosed with it, it's perfectly normal to be depressed. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I know what you're saying.
So I guess, I think I'll go ahead and quote Prince EA or Prince IE, that retard on Facebook who goes ahead and makes the most stupid videos about Facebook and whatever. The only thing I can really take away from him, the one thing I'll genuinely understand, is the notion that he goes ahead and creates this metaphor that you are the sky and that clouds are momentary and they pass and they go. And I think that's a very clever way to describe that, because at the same time that's kind of like depression as well. It comes and goes in your life. So yeah, I guess that's kind of my necessary input on that, to be perfectly honest. And whilst everyone has it differently, it's perfectly normal, to be honest. Whether it's something with a breakup, it's something where you're not able to get a girlfriend or a boyfriend or whatever it is, it's perfectly normal. And I'd like to think that with 7 billion people in the world, I mean, it's quite possible that statistically that you will find someone that's like you, and there is someone that is worse off than you. And I guess that's really that point across. What are your opinions on using medication when it comes to depression and whatever, those kinds of things?
When it comes to if it's that serious to where you need medication, then obviously you're gonna need medication. It is a mental illness, and that does require some kind of therapy or
of course
it's caused by a chemical imbalance going on.
Yeah.
And I don't want to like make it sound like, oh, it's just another sickness, because whenever you're in it, it feels like there's nothing left. Like you feel like you can't get anything back. And
like there's no escape, kind of.
Yeah, it's like it's a disease that makes you not want to get help for it. Like it makes you it just wants to shove you farther down into itself. Which,
kind of like the notion of you're ashamed to have it, almost, I guess.
Yeah.
To an extent.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think another huge thing is that my girlfriend, for example, who's beautiful and she's just awesome and stuff, when she was quite younger, she went ahead, I think she was about 13 or stuff, she was online and she came across a website where basically it involved helping other people who had depression. So it basically came to the point where she met 2 people online, and these 2 people were clinically depressed, alright? They had the paperwork to show it and whatnot, and she was talking to them, I think, every single day, just trying to help them and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually what happened was she became attached to these people, but these people themselves weren't mentally stable, and so they were almost, I mean, they were going to kill themselves, I think, at one rate. So it's just horrible, because if you surround yourself with negativity, then you yourself become negative, obviously.
Yeah, exactly.
And so it's quite sad, because in order to help someone's depression, it involves you making that sacrifice.
Yeah.
And so she then went ahead and she entered her own quite depressed state because of this. And so then she didn't hear from them from quite a while, so she doesn't know even till this day whether they are alive or if something else has happened.
Oh my goodness.
So it's awful. And yeah, it's stuff like that. I mean, unless you are someone, and this is quite contradicting considering that this whole podcast is talking about how to try overcome depression, how to try step out of those bubbles. We don't have the qualifications that it takes to tell you what to do. We're just people that
Trying
have
to
maybe
help out.
yeah, exactly. We're just people that you guys watch. We're just ordinary people who want to be your friends. And so there is a price to pay for people who are willing to go ahead and try to help others with depression if they aren't a psychiatrist or a psychologist, and that is that a simple rule is that if you surround yourself with positivity, you're going to be positive. If you surround yourself with negativity, you're going to be negative.
Exactly.
So, yeah. And if there's anything...
Can I go more into that? Okay, so like, because people knew like that I was depressed, or that I was a depressing person in most of my school. Most of my friends knew that, like, about that, and they knew that if they were to help me, they would become depressed as well, and they didn't want to deal with that. So it led to me losing friends because I had depression, because
That's awful.
Yeah, it is. Like, Oh my! If any of you are going through that, I know exactly how you feel. Like you're just trying to come to someone, and they're just like, "Get the fuck away from me."
Yeah.
I know they won't. They probably won't say it like that. They'll probably try, "Go get some help." Like that's what I'm trying to do. That's why I'm talking to you. And I know it really fucking sucks because it's almost like they don't want to help you. Which, I mean, I understand because when depressed people come to me saying, "I'm gonna kill myself," there's nothing left. It's like, no, dude, come on, listen to me. And it's like they won't listen to you. And I was the same way. Like I wouldn't listen to them. I was like, no, nothing's gonna help me. Just talk to me. And yeah. So I was just going into like how it does spread from.
Yeah.
It's almost like it's contagious in a way.
And
not
another bad thing is that the notion that sometimes it comes to an extent where if someone is so depressed, there seems to be a kind of line between actually being someone who needs or is seeking help or someone that's an attention seeker.
Yeah.
And that could be a huge problem because I've had instances where people say, "Oh, I'm depressed and I'm thinking about starting cutting myself and stuff," but it's just the way they're conveying that. It's just, unfortunately, can come across as attention seeking sometimes.
Yeah, it actually does, and a lot of people thought that as well of me. Like I'm just trying to do it for attention, which it kind of was the truth because I wanted.
Yeah, exactly.
I wanted people.
You wanted help. You wanted people to help you out. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, exactly. That's right.
But yeah, so that can be a problem as well, and it's just quite sad because in order to seek help and in trying to do something, in doing the actions that you think are required to get help, to get better, a lot of the time is actually doing more harm. Yeah. So, essentially, and there's also, if I might say, there's a huge misconstruction of the notion that seeking help or talking to a psychologist or even a school counselor or a psychiatrist is a bad thing or it's a thing to be ashamed of. It's not at all. I mean, that's why they're there in the first place, to help you. People saying, well, you should go seek help, you should go see a psychiatrist, and people, at least that I know, when they're told this, go ahead and become very, defensive.
Yeah, I understand that because I was exactly the same way. Like I didn't want to talk to a therapist or anything. I didn't want to.
You would
take
feel like
any
they
medication.
wouldn't understand, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
But I guess the thing is that they have the qualifications. I mean, whilst I'm also kind of pessimistic in the sense that I'm unwilling to do things that I'm not used to. I'm a very kind of I'm a person that likes to stick to schedule and whatever, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
It can be extremely difficult to go ahead and have the confidence to seek help professionally. But it's just something that you need to do. If you're wanting to get better and you want to make a change, it all starts with you basically, and it requires that that first hand to say, I need to seek help, and I have people to talk to, psychologists. They're not going to be like my friends or supposed friends who are going to just kind of give me the backhand. There is nothing wrong with seeking help whatsoever.
Yeah, there is. Like, I can tell you that if you have to make the decision to seek help, like it is up to you. Like you can obviously tell your parents and they can try to get you help, which I may or may not recommend based on who your parents are. If it was my parents, they probably wouldn't give a shit because they wouldn't want to pay for something like that. Like we can't pay for that. And I understood that, so I almost never did ask for that help. Although I think if they knew how serious it was for me, they would have gotten help. And same goes for you. But if you cannot go to your parents, if you can't go to your friends, I am telling you from experience that reaching out to one of the hotlines or just a counselor at
free
school,
hotlines.
yeah,
Sure.
Those will get you started. They won't like fix the problem, but they will get you on the right track to getting the help that you need, which was the case for me. Like you'll hear people say I called them, they just made me feel worse. I have that based on my experiences, that was not the case for me. got me on the right track. And I was in the Army while all this happened, so when I called them, it was a very trying time because I couldn't come to anyone about it because the sergeants there, they're more Army in mind. They don't necessarily care for depression that much, although I did talk to one sergeant that was very nice to me about it. And she like scheduled the help that I needed, got me appointments to the mental clinic. And so yeah, please, if you have nothing else to go to, just you got to make the choice to call up some hotline or go to the counselor, or because it is something wrong. There's a reason why cancer patients go to the doctor. It's because there's something wrong with them. Same reason why depressed people. Yeah, exactly. Like if you have cancer, you're not just gonna sit at home and be like, oh, it's better this way. Like, no, you gotta get it fixed. I'm telling you. I know it doesn't feel like it might not be a mental illness. Like, it feels like it is you. It is yourself. It's a part of you. And I can tell you that is just not true.
Yeah. And also a huge thing is that what I love is that if you're someone that does have depression and say there's in no way you can seek medical help, which is financially costly, you can obviously call numbers and other providers that are free online. But also, another great thing is that the place that you're at right now is a place where people exactly like you are standing, right? In the comment section, I really hope that there will be an environment, obviously, that is just so super full of empathy and contrition. Like, people...
Kill yourself!
Yeah. But you can go ahead and talk to others in the comment section that are feeling exactly how you are, and I guess Max and I have an obligation, obviously, and I'll be replying to some comments as well. And
yeah.
I read every single comment, basically, so just because we maybe won't get the chance to reply, it doesn't mean we're not replying at all, because we're hoping that you guys will be able to reply in instances that we just simply can't. But yeah, so I guess that's pretty much the thought of depression. It's just more so, there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with being... having depressions in your life. Consider that if you actually don't have depression, or you aren't clinically depressed, but rather you're just going through a recessionary period, if you are actually depressed to the point you need to take medication, consider actually just calling someone, even like a school counselor or some kind of free bono kind of service provider, pro bono. Yeah. And if you do it, then just seriously, there's nothing wrong with seeing a psychologist or psychiatrist. They're trained to help people like you. And chances are there are people that are dealing with it way, way worse. I think that's another thing. We all need to be appreciative of where we are and know that at least we have food on our plates and at least we have water and stuff. So we have... the basic things that we need. If you're watching this video, you have the basic things you need to seek help, and all of us here are here to help you guys. And that's pretty much that topic on depression, guys. So final thing I want to say, Max, what the hell is going on with your YouTube channel? All right, you gained 7,000 subscribers in the space of about 6 hours on your live stream. It's just on a side note. Oh my god.
It was just appearing on random people's front pages for no goddamn reason.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Someone made a Reddit post and it showed like 3 different live streams from like somewhere even from like Syria and stuff. Like, like it was fucking weird, dude. Yeah. I don't know what's going on.
Basically, Max was streaming on YouTube, and all of a sudden, the guy has 3,000 people watching him, and gains like 7,000. Anyway, but no. So thank you guys so very much for watching this first episode. If you enjoyed it, please leave a rating. We love you guys so much. Is there anything you want to say before we sign off, Mum?
Yeah. For those of you that are depressed or even just are both suffering from depression or just feeling depressed at this very moment, I can tell you from experience, you're gonna be okay. All right, just I know it's hard to just say believe the words I'm saying, because for you, obviously, it's not, you're not in that state of mind where you can just be like, oh, okay, it'll get better, because I know you're not in that mindset. But please just keep hanging on, and you'll find something. Get the help that you need if you feel like it is that serious enough to where you need to get some kind of outside assistance. And yeah, we'll be here to try to talk to you. And everyone here, I implore to reply to people that say I need someone to talk to, or just make friends here. That's what we're all about.
This is an intimate relationship we gotta have with you guys, and we gotta really get in contact with you guys. So yeah, feel free to say whatever you want. It's pretty much free, but positive environment is implored. But with that said, thank you guys so much for watching. Slap on a rating if you enjoyed it, and check it out on SoundCloud. I still need to make that, and we'll have a Twitter at some point. But with that said, see you guys in the next one.
Toodles.